What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Metal Maniacs Podcast Presents The Last Week on Earth, where we go over metal and rock news stories. We give you some new releases, and we talk about our local scene a little bit, anything that they've come out with, or dates that they have coming up, or tours coming through our town. With that being said, I'm your host, Jay Ingersoll, and I'm here, as always, with my co-host.
It's your boy Mod. It's good, Jay.
What's up, buddy? Hey, you don't get the funny intros on this show.
Yeah, every time I'm like kind of waiting for like when am I saying?
That's for the Tuesday show. That's
Yeah,
for the in studio shit. You
yeah.
know what I
Like
mean?
I'm just the co-host. Nothing more,
On the
nothing
news.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. We're co-hosting,
yeah.
co-parenting this podcast.
Yeah, nurturing this podcast.
With that being said, your haircut looks nice.
Well, yeah, thanks. Yeah, got the ears lowered. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep, trimmed up, trimmed up. No
nice.
hat today.
It's all
Showing it
good.
off.
Yeah, that's what happens when you pay for a haircut. I wouldn't know.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Just
I
hey, on the plus side, just think of all the money you've saved all these years being basically bald. Like, I mean,
dude,
like you
I just say
saved.
I say I have God's haircut. There's nothing I can
Yeah.
do about it.
That's what he gave me.
That's what he gave me. That's what he shelled
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Not only are you saving like money on haircuts in general, like barbershops or whatever, but you're saving like the money that I spend. Now I go to my cousin's salon.
Yeah,
So I spend like next level money on getting my hair touched up by my
right.
cousin, supporting her business, and then tipping her
Mm.
out. Like I want to support her, and I probably go to a salon anyway. Like I always have. I gotta have like stylist doing my hair. Like like it
Right.
matters to me that fucking much. But I don't.
You just wanted to get pampered a little bit and have
A little
someone touch
bit,
your
man.
hair.
Just it's like only every 2 or 3 months, man. It's not like
Right. Yeah,
you know.
quarterly, that's not bad, you know.
It's not too bad. I let it go like I probably do the hair about as often as I do the lawn. So like here and
Except
there.
during the winter. That's
I'll
how
let,
often you
let
shovel.
ski cat all
Mm.
winter like fucking
Yeah.
hat.
Well, cool,
so
cool. Uh,
so
go ahead, buddy.
news, yeah.
Yep.
So I
Go
saw
ahead.
this one. Let me just pull this up. This came up across the wire, a couple different sites, but this just in as of last night.
Breaking
Base,
news.
yeah, breaking news, hot off the presses. I was like, oh, good, a good story, a worthy metal story.
Right.
Vitriol bassist and co-founder quits mid-tour the band to continue as a two-piece. Now, that headline rocked me two different ways. One, obviously, this guy Adam Roethlisberger is the bassist and like co-lead vocalist. Like that's a huge member of the band. The
Mhm.
dude's a monster on the bass guitar, and obviously he lays down very sick vocals to go along with Kyle. But it also fucked me up because it says they're going to continue as a two-piece. And the last thing I remember, they were a four-piece band. So like there's just next to no mention of the other guitarist, Daniel Martinez. It just says who also left the band at some point. Now we've got, and I will just read the quote from their Instagram page so that there's no misunderstandings here. It reads, "It is with heavy hearts that we announce the departure of founding member, bassist, and co-vocalist Adam Roethlisberger. After a very rocky start to the tour, Adam felt it was the time to call it a day. It was the straw upon the camel's back of a long and difficult working relationship with myself, Kyle. I can be a difficult person to work with. Adam has our love and best wishes in whatever he pursues next. Matt and I will continue as a two-piece for the foreseeable future. Thank you to everyone that has shared their support and enthusiasm over these last several shows. To the rest of you, we hope to see you out there." And then it's got the dates of the rest of the tour. So the last bit of news leading up to this was Adam was hanging back with their broke down bus, waiting for that to get repaired. I don't know what inspired from like the bus repairs to the next day or the next 2 days or whatever, but he just pieced out. Like I think some of the comments led me to believe that they were in their hometown of like Portland, Oregon or something.
Mhm.
And he just decided, like, since I'm home, I've had enough of this shit. I can't work with Kyle. Fucking bus breaks down. It's not worth it. I don't want to do this. And he just dips out. Obviously, you've got Kyle saying I can be a very difficult person to work with. That almost sounds like getting out in front of some shit. Like, hey, you're probably gonna hear some shit about me in the next couple weeks or down the line. Where it's like, yeah, I'm owning it. I'm a difficult motherfucker to work with. I get it. Like, and we've seen this kind of shit before with some guys where they're like, they're hard to work with and they've
Yeah.
got problems and
Even our
they just,
hero.
yeah, they can be a real pain in the ass one way or the other to be around. So
Especially if you're a
he's not.
control freak. You got these
Yeah,
expectations for other people, and man, you'll get let down every time, bro.
yeah.
So,
So
real quick, and let me jump in on this. First things first, I did see these guys uh, in
at
May.
the yeah, yep,
Yeah.
at the from the band
So
Maria
they were a
Gotcha. Yep.
four-piece then.
Okay.
So they had four members. They were sweet as
Right.
fuck. I actually met Adam, the singer. Super nice dude. Really cool.
Yeah, I hear that about these guys. They're super
Yeah.
fucking likable.
And then this week, I listened to Kyle on the Garza podcast.
Yeah.
And I know Garza films out a little bit, but
Okay.
not terribly. Not like maybe us sometimes where we're 4 or 5 weeks
Right.
ahead. He
Yeah, yeah.
films out a little bit, but not that much. So this whole time during this podcast, Kyle doesn't say one thing. He said the story that you had mentioned about Adam being back with the bus,
Yep.
and he's going to join in, and they've been playing as a two-piece right now,
Yeah.
which throttled you and also throttled me because I'm like, what the fuck? I just seen these guys as a four-piece, and he's talking about his rig. He actually had his guitar on the podcast, and he's like playing some of the stuff and showing how his rig works and stuff. So like, dude's all about his shit. Super talented dude. I guess if they can make it work as a two-piece, more room in the van and more pay, I guess. But at the same time, man, it's that band is usually four guys. It's really hard to pull that off. He's doing vocals and then have to make up
Yeah.
for the other vocals, and then you're only one guitar after, and they're an onslaught of noise and pissed off, aggressive, tension building, angriness anyway. So it's already
Yeah.
that kind of music's hard to pull off. But yeah,
Well,
I just found out about this too. I probably agree with you, and if I'm putting myself in dude's shoes, it's like, if you're hard to work with, that's one thing. The van breaks down, that's another thing. You know, you are
yeah,
playing
I mean,
extreme metal. It's already a hard pill to swallow every day.
it's
Probably
a
making ends meet.
yeah, the music outright alone is super chaotic. Like just all of that, just chaos, riff soup, angry everywhere. I I feel like maybe it'll sound better with just him, like just one guy out there. It'll
Yeah,
sound like more like I can understand it, and there's no muddy bass action. But that said, and I have not seen these guys live. That dude is a monster on the bass, and I think they really take a hit for the lack of the vocals. Like having Adam back up Kyle is probably where it hurts the most. Which is not to disparage the bass playing. I just think that he's trying to keep up with the guitars, and maybe he's not as audibly discernible as like another style of bassist might be, just holding it down on the low end. Where this guy's like doing all these bass taps and crazy shit. Like
yeah,
he's a
he's all
madman.
over.
Yeah. So I like obviously I've seen him perform in like YouTube videos and stuff. Like
Mhm.
he's a beast.
Yes.
I just really think they really take a hurting from the lack of the vocal support in addition to Kyle's vocals. Like that's where the fans would be missing Adam the most, is having him back up Kyle or offset Kyle back and forth. So
Yeah, he did a
um
ton of vocals when I seen him, and a lot
yeah.
by himself too. So
Yeah.
then that also questions like your two piece. You're doing all the vocals plus more now, and
Yeah.
you're playing this complex, crazy music. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you got to be a hell of a player to pull it off. So good
I
luck
mean,
to them.
yeah.
Unfortunately, we'll talk about this show at the end, but like I'm not going to be able to make that Vestigial show because that's the day Larry
Right.
gets married. So I won't be there to watch them, or else I
Yeah.
would be at the Pyramid Scheme to see Goat Whore because they're actually pretty sweet. And Vitriol, and then obviously our homies in Vestigial. But I would
Yeah,
like to go.
I think that's I don't what is that, a Sunday night or no, it's a Saturday. It's a
Yeah,
Saturday.
it's a Saturday night. Yeah, there'll be a
So
two
yeah,
piece
that's
there. So
I was looking at the Detroit date, but the 14th is my wedding anniversary, and my wife works late, so I'm really not trying to like get a babysitter and do my
yeah,
own thing on my wedding anniversary. I'm
I get
kind of
it.
like I'm waiting for my wife to come home to hang out with her. That's what I'm doing. So
Right,
which
I
sucks
get
because
it.
it's like Vestigial does so very few shows currently. And it's like the one that I've really noticed is like coming up, so I'm not going to be able to make that. Sorry, Vestigial. Still fucking love you guys. You're the best.
Yeah, we'll catch you
Someday,
soon. We'll get you
Someday
soon.
soon. Someday
All right.
soon. Yep.
All right,
What you
cool.
got, Jay?
For my story today, it's kind of the story, and you and I discussed before the pod that we should definitely mention this. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
huge story, and we extend our wings a little further than just extreme metal.
Yeah.
So, Linkin Park
Sure.
announces new lineup and comeback single, The Emptiness Machine, ahead of
Hmm.
2025 album From Zero. And I'll just read this real quick. I got a little something written up on this. So, Linkin Park
Okay.
is officially back with a revamped lineup and fresh music. The iconic band has introduced two new members: Emily Armstrong, co-vocalist of the critically acclaimed rock band Dead Sarah, and Colin Britton, songwriter and producer for artists like G Flip and One OK Rock, as their drummer. Together, they are now streaming their highly anticipated comeback single, The Emptiness Machine, from their upcoming album From Zero, set for release on November 15th. So, real quick from Mike Shinoda, he said, before Linkin Park, our first band name was Zero, but that's with an X. This album title refers to both this humble beginning and the journey we're currently undertaking. Sonically and emotionally, it is about past, present, and future embracing our signature sound, but new and full of life. So I have a couple other things here in support of their upcoming release. Linkin Park has also announced 6 exclusive arena shows as part of their Zero World Tour. The tour will take the band to Los Angeles, New York, Hamburg, London, Seoul, and Bogota. LP Underground Fan Club pre-sales will begin September 6th, with general sales starting on September 7th. For more information, check out Linkin Park. Um, so with just my 2 cents on it, I wish the most best success to them. I'm glad they revamped it. We all know how it goes to bring back a passion in your life that maybe you've been missing for a while, or to revamp that love. You're a fellow musician. I got love for you. Never cared for one note of any Linkin Park song. I literally just can't. I don't like the rapping. I don't like any of the music. I don't like one choice they've ever made. I do not like Chester's vocals, not one bit. Like, I could deal with a little bit of the STP stuff he was doing, and I heard a few other things, and I could
Okay.
deal with that.
Yeah.
Just can't do Linkin Park. I just don't
Yeah.
want nothing to do with them. It doesn't mean they suck. It doesn't mean that they're not a great band. It doesn't mean I don't wish the best success for them. And we talked about, they're kind of like you know, uh, a gateway band, almost like you might start like in. I know a lot of extreme metal dudes that love Linkin
Yeah.
Park, so
Yeah.
it's the same with me. I love a lot of new metal and stuff that maybe somebody else doesn't. So it's
Yeah.
just Linkin Park never was for me. But with that being said, I didn't listen to anything new. But this is where you come in, and you can let me know how you felt about it
Yeah.
and where you stand with the LP.
Okay. Yeah. So for me in my life, I was never a huge Linkin Park fan. I kind of jumped into that Meteora album, so like their second release, if you will, after Hybrid Theory. Then you've got Meteora, and Meteora was when they went just like 10x platinum. Like they're just
Yeah,
as big as ever during Meteora. That and quite frankly, that's about where it starts and stops for me. Like I was familiar with Hybrid Theory, and they had the 2 or 3 singles come off of that we all heard and plenty. And they were kind of like almost like the tail end of that new metal thing where it was like, this new metal thing. But and then they went on and did like a bunch of different music. Well, anyway, I am not like a diehard Linkin Park fan, and I don't have all this nostalgia and emotional attachment to it. Here are the things that I want to come out with first. I do think that Chester is an amazing vocalist. Like what is on record is undeniable. And the fact that he could go out there and do that every single night is a testament to why they're so huge. Like him or not is fine, but the guy just had like a very unique 1 in a billion vocal, and that's why Linkin Park kind of stood above everything else. Now, having said that, and liking a small, narrow margin of their catalog, I did listen to some snippets of the live stream. I didn't make the whole 80-minute trek. I'm not setting aside that kind of time for a band that I'm, lukewarm on. I did cruise through the songs that I know, and I like listened for the Chester parts, right?
yeah,
And first of all, I want to say like because he's such an impossible voice to replicate, I think it was like tough making this decision. So where I want to leave it without disparaging anybody and their talents or their skill set is I do feel like this band needed to massage this sound more for another year at least behind closed doors before doing like they did in one, which is annoying as hell, dropping a 100-hour countdown on their fans only to have that lead to another fucking announcement. Like, holy shit, piss off with that noise. That is so goddamn obnoxious. Like, that is infuriating. An
I almost
announcer.
wonder if that's on accident though. Like maybe they wanted to like leak something and then it counted down and it wasn't ready and then they were like, I guess we'll count back up. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just
No, I
wondering
mean,
about that. Like,
fair. Like, I just give them the benefit of the doubt. But for me, I was just like, man, don't ever do this. If you're any kind of band, don't do the announcement of a fucking announcement. Like, that is some trolling ass horse shit. And I was so pissed off by that. And I'm not even like a big fucking fan. I just see it and I'm like, what a bunch of limp dicks. What the limp penis? That's what the LP stands for. Like, that is the worst bogus fucking move. Like, fuck that
that's funny.
noise.
That's
I am
amazing.
sorry, but that was like, I was just so like
No,
oh
I seen your post
the
about it as soon as it
yeah,
happened. You're like
the
very
hundred
concerned.
hour yeah, the 100-hour countdown to nothing.
Yeah.
A bunch of fucking dicks. So
Yeah.
anyway, I watched this and I gotta say, like, like, bless this Emily vocalist. What was her last name? I'm sorry.
I'll give it for you. I got it. It's right here.
Anderson or something.
Yep. Armstrong.
Armstrong, thank you.
Kind of
I
like
mean,
Neil.
God bless her. She's stepping into some fucking huge shoes to fill. And I don't know how much practice she's had doing like Chester's voice, but she's still got some work to do.
Mm.
Like to be able to hold out that fry vocal, because I'm listening to it and I'm maybe being overly critical, but where that fry vocal kind of hits the end of her range, like there's that falling out of the vocal cord, like it kind of almost goes into a break off or like a broken screechy sound where it's like she just didn't have all of it.
Yeah.
Like she can't carry it out that long, a little bit of fluctuation. I don't mean to be overly critical, but the standards are what they are. We've all heard Linkin Park for like 25 years now. So if Linkin Park's going to roll out with this new vocalist after all of this hype leading up to the show, I think they really needed to like rein it, like dial it in better.
Mm.
Like, that's my opinion of it. Like, you got 7 years and you can mourn 7 years and the rest of your life. That's fine. But on the other side of that, like when you make the decision that you're going to come back and then you choose who you choose, you got to know it's there for the hundreds of millions of fans of your band, that when you roll it out, it's like it lives up to some amount of hype. In my opinion, it did not. As an objective listener, I think Emily's got a little ways to go to be working on and hey, they can go another direction. They can steer away from all them fry vocals and get to a point where they're like the newer sounding Linkin Park that we knew on the last album in 2017, where it was like almost soft pop rock. It was
Yeah.
questionable. Like, I don't even know. I don't listen to that stuff. I don't like if I hear something from Meteora come on the radio, cool. They got a couple other singles along the way, cool. I'm not like that big a hater to where I gotta like snap the radio off as soon as Linkin Park comes on. It's song by song for me. Some are good, some are bad. But if you're gonna do the old catalog, you're gonna want to make sure you got it to bring live. Otherwise, just don't do them songs. And I think that if they choose to keep doing them songs, they got a little ways to go for her to sound tight. And hey, knock some rust off. Everybody else, I get it, but I just think it wasn't ready. To me, it didn't sound ready. And
Yeah.
the new song is not it, fam. Like,
Not that
it's
good.
not. It's yeah. I mean, I listened to a verse and a chorus about as much as I could stomach,
Mm.
and I'm just like, this is pop. This
Yeah.
is like the kind of trite pop stuff I don't really want to hear.
Yeah.
Very simple, very uninspired. Like, I don't get it. And to your point, going back a few comments to like something you said, like you don't like the rapping, fam. Neither do I. Mike Shinoda is not a very good rapper. Like,
It's like
he might be a great producer. He might do beats really well. He might even do some lyrics really catchy and clever. But when it comes to like him rapping on the mic, man, it's like a lot of it's a big miss for me. So that's
yeah.
a part of the band that so that's why I like when I
Reminds
speak to the power of Chester, I'm like, you got to really bring that Chester vocal. That is what Linkin Park is known
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. That was the thing that I always leaned on. He was a one of a kind vocalist, and that was always a strong suit. I just didn't really, like it or whatever. But
Fair.
yeah, dude's rapping kind of sounds like the cool youth pastor that's trying to be cool with the young kids and like put some raps
Yikes.
together like to be sweet.
Yikes.
That's
Fucking
how bad his
yikes.
rapping is to me. But hey,
Uh,
whatever. I mean, that is what
yeah,
it is. But
that's the
hopefully
news.
they
Like,
hopefully they got some success. I know a lot of people,
yeah,
and I hope maybe it'll just take them a little bit to, like you
yeah,
said, rein it in a little bit. And,
yeah. And
they wanted
I
to
don't,
make the announcement. They have some shows coming up, and maybe by the end of the tour, they'll figure it out. And with anything new, we know how it goes. You work
yeah.
out the kinks and go from
And
there.
again,
So kudos
I
to
don't
them.
want to, I don't want to sound like a hater, and that's
Right.
why I tried to lean in with like,
Yeah.
and I agree with you. Wish him well. Like, it's got to be nice to get back on stage and do the thing before the audience that they once knew and were able to do the thing constantly. But also I feel like little work needs to be done there, and more power to them. Maybe they'll get it where it ought to be, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
again, not a hater. Like some of the stuff, it's fine with me. I'll blast some of it sometimes. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I feel like little ways to go. Little early on that. Like jump the gun a little early for that, in my
But
opinion.
there's probably a lot of people that aren't as critical as we are that probably love it
Oh
too. So
no, I
whatever.
am
But
like just reading comments and looking at like laugh emojis versus like love emojis. Like I'm in the minority. Like most of these zines and these sites, I'm in the minority, so it's fine. But if you're not like a diehard of like Lincoln Park fan and you're more like on the fence, waiting to see which way it goes. For me, I was like, yeah, this needs some work. They were not really ready. They were not 100% ready for this, but maybe they'll get there. So more
cool,
power to
cool.
them.
All right, so we'll move on to some new releases. We did not do last week on Earth last week.
Nope.
Just so you guys know that we're going to try to do this every week, but sometimes it might be a miss. But guaranteed, every Tuesday you will see a Metal Maniacs podcast on YouTube and all streaming services in the morning. So Tuesday will never be a miss. Saturdays will be every one we can pull off, but sometimes life happens and it's hard to get another day to pod in, but we're going to try to. So I'm going to give you new releases from the last 2 weeks. And
Okay.
some of these are kind of rock and metal releases, so just be aware of that. And I'm just going to rip through them real quick. So we got 40-watt Sun called Little Weight. I'd actually check that out. It's kind of like this weird, slow, drony rock. I don't know. So, and then A Swarm of the Sun, another Sun band, and Empire. And then I pulled this up today, and this is even slower, dronier rock. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check those out. Sometimes at work, I get a couple minutes and I just start plugging through the new releases. And then, so you got Amensis, Reclamation Part 2. You got Ancients, Beyond the Reach of the Sun, another Sun thing. Blitzkrieg, self-titled. We got Boston Manor, Sundiver, Deceased, Children of the Morgue. I put that on. Never listened to Deceased before, but it is very old school death metal, kind of on the cheese side, but if that's what you like, check it out. Got Demonical, Victorious Death. This is live in Latin America. You got Elder live at BBC Val Studios. Elephant Tree has a handful of reissues and re-releases. We got Fame on Fire, The Death Card, Future Palace, Distortion, God Dethroned, The Judas Paradox. That one I didn't get a chance to check out. God is an Astronaut, Embers, Jordan Rudess, Permission to Fly, Lamb of God, The Ashes of the Wake 20th Anniversary Edition. Now, I didn't check that out to see what that was. I don't know if it has extra tracks or different stuff, but 20th Anniversary Edition. Leprous, Melodies of Atonement, Many Eyes, The Light Age. I did check this out today, The Many Eyes. I was just curious to what it was. It's Keith Buckley, I believe
Buckley.
his name
Yep.
is, new band
Yep.
from Every Time I Die. I loved it.
Yeah.
I
Loved
loved
it.
it. And
Awesome.
I'm not even the biggest Every Time I Die fan, but like some of
Sure.
the clean vocals and the singing
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
the actual like songwriting on this was
Yes.
fantastic. The whole
Yeah.
album, there's a
Thank
few
you.
parts that were kind of questionable, but as a whole, I freaking loved the album, man. I was very surprised.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to say
Yeah,
I've heard
go
like
ahead.
heard like two singles from the new album. I have not listened to the whole album, but from what I heard, I was like, man, this is really good.
Yeah.
I'm stoked on it. So and with that said, real quick, I just want to say like Dies, if he dies, he dies has a show coming up, or did
No,
a
they
show
just
with
played.
them.
It was last
Just did
Thursday.
it.
Yeah.
which I would have loved to have gone to, but it just wasn't in the cards. Just another one of those nights. Can't go out to Grand Rapids. Can't go out. Period. So,
It was on a
really,
Thursday too,
yeah.
so that's a tough
Big ups
night.
to them for doing that show. If anybody
Yeah.
caught it, drop a comment.
I did talk to Luke. He went, and we'll talk about what he said later. But
Sure.
next one is Nails, Every Bridge Burning. Man, 17 minutes of just punching you right in your square nuts or whatever you have below the belt. It's just amazing, dude. I just, oh man. To me, it's kind of like this crust punky wrapped in like a dismember costume. Like
Okay.
I don't know. It's badass though. It's just in your face, good as fuck. I've heard about it, so I listened to it and I was like, yeah, this is good. Plus, it's only 17 minutes, so I mean that I'm a big fan of that. Just give me some hard shit for 17 minutes, and then we can go listen to something else.
Right.
Norna, self-titled Oceano Living Chaos. I put this one on. I don't want to be the hater. The music was great. The vocal performance was insane. But if you sing over every riff, your band will never get a 5 above a 5 grading for me. Sorry, there's just not enough breaks for anything to breathe. It's just vocal after vocal, which makes all the
Right.
vocals sound the same.
Yeah.
Amazing vocalist, this Adam dude from Oceano, though. He is so
Okay.
damn good, but it's just like after 3 songs, you're kind of burnt out on the vocals.
Sure.
Pure Reason Revolution, Coming Up to Consciousness, Teeth, The Will of Hate, The Cold Stairs, The Southern, got Thrown. I wanted to listen to that. That's kind of more like beat down hardcore stuff, but I do like the band Excessive Guilt. Various artists surrender to death. A history of Atlanta metal ground. That seems interesting. Vestige, Janus, and Winter Sun Time 2. I didn't listen to that. I'm into Winter Sun. And then just real quick, since we're kind of news, and I'm just letting you know. Last week I did listen to the Within the Ruins. I listened to the Nile,
Okay.
and I listened to Flesh God Apocalypse, which is
Okay.
really good.
Yeah.
So all some albums that I think everybody should check out.
Yeah,
And
I've heard one single from Nails, and I've heard one of the Flesh God Apocalypse singles, which I really enjoyed. Both of them really, but Flesh God is more in my wheelhouse. I really appreciate that band.
yeah, very orchestral, very big. A lot of female vocals on this one, but I loved it. I thought it was great. So, all right, man. So that kind of wraps it up for new releases as far as on
Yeah.
the bigger scale. So, what do you got for another story for us?
Oh, one of the last things I was going to say is I also listened to a new single from Spirit Box. So I think
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're gearing up for an album like of compilation of singles or something, but they just dropped a new single. Guitar work is pretty cool. I had hopes for better or more diverse vocals, knowing how good a vocalist Courtney LaPlante is. I really felt like this was just like a one single vocal through and through, which kind of surprised me. Like, didn't at least she normally goes to the gutturals at some point with those heavy songs, but did not on this track. So that was curious for me. Not a hater. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan, and I think you and I agree. Like, great vocalist and
Yeah.
a cool band in my opinion. But and some cool guitar work. So I give it up to, I think it's Mike on the guitar. He's great.
I do have to listen to more of them. I've never sat down and listened to it. I've just seen like clips of her singing and
Yeah,
like of the
yeah,
music and stuff online, and I'm like, man, she is freaking awesome.
yeah. No, she
So,
can. Yeah, she kills it on the mic, by and large, and I have nothing negative to say about the band. I think it for you, I think you would like half of it, and then another half of it, you'd just be like, it's just too not me, like
yeah.
just kind of like knowing your taste. I think you'd enjoy them live though, because they're gonna throw like the best of the best at you.
Right. And they
Moving
probably won't
on.
get too slow for too long because you
Yeah,
don't
no,
want
they
your
might.
audience to snooze.
Yeah, yeah, right. They might dip out for a song or two, but I don't think they're going to um, let it let everybody go to sleep on you. So moving on in the news world, now this one's about 2 weeks old, and it was just kind of curious to me, and we can kind of like volley back and forth on it, but this has now happened twice in the last 2 weeks, but bands on Spotify are being bombarded by AI doppelgangers. The weirdest fucking thing. First of all, I'm like, all right, I'm just kind of like, Spotify doesn't even care. They have like no answer to this. They have no defense in this. Like they're just kind of like, yeah, it doesn't hurt our bottom line. We don't care. We don't care that hackers are dropping like songs in to random planets. We've got so this came out a couple weeks ago, and bands that were affected listed as follows: The Ghost Inside, Currents, Fit for a King, The Devil Wears Prada, Born of Osiris, Like Moths to Flames, Bury Tomorrow, Imminence, and Silent Planet. And they bands probably just rush to take these down as fast as they can, however they can, as fast as they can. But then you have it again. Caliban, Alpha Wolf, Fit for an Autopsy, getting the Skynet treatment. Hardcore bands this time around were being bombarded with AI tracks. Jay, what the fuck is happening? Like don't
So
can't Spotify afford to have some security measures in place? And why is AI music a fucking topic? What are we
so
talking about?
so I AI music. That's a whole. We could do a whole show on that. It is what it is. I mean, it's not going away. But
Yeah.
Spotify. So I love Bandcamp.
Yes.
Everybody should have a Bandcamp.
Yes.
You should not have a Spotify or allow anybody to post on these streaming platforms. And I think then you could afford to pay artists more from their streams. There's got to be some kind of gatekeeper filtration system for quality music, for real music going onto these streaming platforms. Because this person's probably, it's probably just a few guys doing this, but they're probably just trying to capitalize off of getting streams. You know what I mean? Like make money because people can make money if you just send it through DistroKid or TuneCore. They're collecting a check if they get a bunch of streams. I mean, not a big one, but still, you do that for what 25 bands. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing here. Someone's always going to do something weird. I just it was like the other day when we talked to Heartsick and there was 4 or 5 different Heartsicks
Yeah.
on the it's like you got to filter this shit. Like if you're on there first, then you're Heartsick 12 mi or Heartsick,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like
Yeah. Somebody
there should be some kind of order. You can't you and I shouldn't just be able to upload music under any of those
Lincoln Park.
aforementioned
Yeah.
bands names. Like that
Yeah.
that should just not happen. Like what
Yeah. The
the
new
hell are we doing here? We're just convoluting all this good
yeah,
music with
like
bullshit.
my new album is gonna be Lincoln Park. Boom.
Right.
Like there I go. I'm fucking Lincoln Park now. Like that's who's policing this shit? I just think it's bizarre beyond comprehension or explanation. Like who's listening to AI music? Fucking nobody. Like I don't get it. Like what? It's bad enough we've got AI visual art taking over the album covers, right? And in Hollywood where they're trying to do AI use of people's imagery and voices. And now we're going AI music. I'm like, what are we even fucking doing as human beings for God's sake? Can't AI do the fucking accounting?
Right.
Can't AI pay my mortgage?
Or do the
Can't
dishes
AI pay
so I
my
can play my guitar?
fucking school loans? Like, what?
Right.
God damn it! Like, it just drives me fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
So that's the story for me. I just the first time I saw it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna bring it up. But there weren't really any many good stories after that, and so we took another week, and then it happened again, and in the next week, I'm like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
more
I seen
fucking
it.
AI takeover, like Jesus Christ. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there needs to be some policing mechanisms. There needs to be some sort of, like you said, a filtration system where people can block this sort of thing from happening. And why can't something as big as Spotify prevent this in the first place without it being a story? Like
It's because
that
they
ma-
let anybody upload and then they don't
yeah,
pay artists nothing anyway. So they don't care. They're just like, oh, it's
but
just more music on there. That means
yeah.
more people are going to listen to something. But
And
yeah,
if they don't see
if
a
it's AI, throw it in the garbage.
yeah, and if they don't feel like it hurts their bottom line, they're just going to allow it.
Right.
Like if people don't cancel their Spotify over it, like they're just gonna allow this shit to continue until it becomes a problem. And it's like, how much AI do I got to sift through before Spotify decides to step in and say, okay, we're gonna finally do something about it? Like, fucking do something yesterday, man. I'm not trying to pay to hear robots make music. That is the dumbest shit to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I hope it
It's fun.
stops. I'm almost wondering if it's on other streaming platforms too, or this was just a Spotify thing, or what. I kind of seen the headline, but I didn't
So
know
far
if
as I
like
can see, yeah.
because usually when you upload, like I said, with TuneCore or DistroKid, it'll upload it everywhere. So, but like YouTube would probably flag the shit.
Right.
Maybe. I guess if it's an original AI song, that would not make sense. But all right,
Yep.
well, that's stupid. It's just as dumb as
Boo.
like I said, the thing.
Boo.
Yeah, like the thing, like bands being able to have a bunch of the same names. It's like if someone's already taken that claim to that name, you should not be able to upload underneath that name, no matter what.
Yeah.
You should it's like getting a new username like on social media or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you got to add something else cuz username has been taken. And then you
The
got bands that have record label backings, those should be stamped and etched as real and authentic when they go on these
Yeah,
sites, so they
yeah,
know they can't be tampered with.
yeah. Blue check mark.
Right.
Blue
And then
check
if
mark.
something tries to upload, this label or this band or this manager should get an email that says, did you guys try to upload this
Yeah,
song?
yeah.
Okay,
Where's the checks and
confirm now.
balances? Yeah,
Yeah,
checks and balances.
not
Radio
not a
button.
hard,
Click.
yeah,
Are you sure? Yes. Are you sure
exactly.
you're sure? Yes.
Yeah.
Like multiple fucking checks
And
before.
check box that says this ain't AI bullshit, is it?
Yeah,
Check here, or else legal action will
yeah.
be taken. That's what I
Select
think needs to happen.
select all the squares with humans in them. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah, the ones you want to eat when you take over.
God damn it. What you got, Jay? Give me one more edible.
Okay, I'm gonna breeze over this because I did have this story ready, but I kind of wanted to talk about something else
Okay.
that I think is a little more pressing. But
Sure.
Slipknot Sid Wilson recovering after suffering
Oh.
burns from in a bonfire accident. Basically, he had a bonfire explosion last week, and his whole right arm is bandaged up, and half of his left arm, his face is basically melted from the nose down. But he says the swelling has gone down, and they said his face is kind of amazing that it's regenerative. It happens real fast, seems to heal quickly. I've had better days, I guess, but I'm alive. I'm doing good. That's what he had to say after the accident happened. So I did
Yeah.
not know he was married to Kelly Osbourne or they're together. They have a baby
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
But he just made like this big bonfire. I think he gassed it up just like a lot of
Yeah.
people do. And I think it just blew up in his face. That's what it looks like
Yeah.
here. And
I also read that it was a brush fire and he was becoming impatient with the burning of the brush fire. So instead of like taking his time, and he owned it, he stated this, like instead of taking his time to do it properly, and light it like from a distance, or he used too much gas or whatever. He basically just, I don't know what the fucking bozo did, but he gets in there with like a lighter or something, like his face right up
yeah,
on the fucking gas flames and
yeah,
vapors, and
you get
lights it, and then
those fumes.
I
Yeah,
mean,
just explodes.
God damn it. So first of all, and I don't know, did you have more that you wanted to add to it before I
Not
go into
really.
my?
I didn't want to take a whole lot of time on this one anyway
Yeah,
because I got something
and
else
I
to talk about. But
and I don't want to beat the guy up. First of all, obviously, like get well, heal up, but people like come on, slow the fuck down. And it's like fucking safety first. Is it that fucking nerdy to have some safety first? He's fucking lucky. He's lucky it wasn't way worse. Way fucking worse. He didn't burn down his estate. He didn't blow his eyeballs out. He didn't melt his whole entire face off or die. Fucking hell, man. Like some gas flame in his lungs or some weird shit. I don't fucking know. Slow down when you're driving. Slow down when you're doing a brush fire. Chill the fuck out. I mean, again, I don't want to pile on the guy. He's missing half his face and his hands got a scratching table. Slipknot's not taking a fucking day off for his ass. It's get out here. And he's lucky he wears a mask because whatever damage is done to his face, he can
yeah, no
just
one will know because I don't
put
know
the
what the dude
mask
looks
on.
like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So without
Yeah,
piling on the guy, like,
he kind of blamed it on himself. He kind of
yeah,
said it was his own fault, and he was
yeah.
rushing, doing stuff he shouldn't have. And like, I get it, we all make mistakes, but bro, you're with Kelly Osbourne, and you got Slipknot money, motherfucker. Hire someone else to take care of that shit. What are you doing, bro? Like,
I'm
practice
saying,
or
like,
spend time with your family. Why you burning shit
yeah,
anyway? Like, I ain't
yeah.
fucking with that if I had Kelly Osbourne money. Come on, dude.
Why are you playing with fire out back in a hurry? Like it's the most important thing going on in your life. Like what the fuck, dude? Like the
But
brush pile can't. What's a fucking brush pile? Like what's the urgency of getting rid of a brush pile to where you don't just hire somebody if it's that fucking urgent to get rid
right,
of the brush pile? Like why are you out here throwing gas on it and being stupid? Like I'm sorry, bro. Like come on, you're 50 years old, dude. Like come on.
yeah,
Like think. Just
just
stop and think. Just stop and think for a minute next
yeah,
time. Like
that
don't be. The next time something that dangerous comes across your path, just fucking pump the brakes and take seven fucking seats, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
he would have been eaten by the saber-toothed tiger with that kind of decision that day. He fucking really let natural selection almost take him out because he just did. That's what happens when you do dumb shit. I mean, I get it, accidents happen, but that is kind of dumb. I don't,
yeah, I
I
mean,
wouldn't be fucking with that shit. But at the
yeah,
same time, I don't know. Maybe just bored. He's like, I need to burn this shit. But
yeah, a lot of people they don't want to like just let other people take care of their shit. They're like, oh man, it's my fucking shit. I'll take care of it. I
right,
work. I got two fucking hands at work. Well, now you
yeah,
barely do.
right,
So they're so fucking chill out,
yeah.
homie. Yeah.
But moving on here, I just want to let
Yeah.
you know that the Bay Area thrash legends Testament are ramping up for the release for their next studio album. So
Yes.
to
Hey
me,
man, I
I thought
love
this was a
Testament.
great story because the band has enlisted acclaimed Swedish producer Jens Bogren to mix
Okay.
the highly anticipated follow up to their 2020 album, Titans of Creation.
Yeah.
So Eric Peterson said that it's like the album is 90% done and it's going to get mixed in December by Jens. So Jens is such a badass, man. He's done like Creator, Behemoth, In Flames, Arch Enemy, Doth. He's done so much cool shit. And he's just such a great producer. But they did it because Andy Sneap wasn't available, and because Andy Sneap, one of the best producers out there, he's actually a touring guitarist for Judas Priest. So,
Oh
uh,
wow.
but they picked a great producer to go with, and I'm excited to hear it. I've kind of been off of the Testament train for quite a while, but I think it's something that I need to revisit and get back on some albums. I was really down with the Gathering back in the day, but they
Sure.
just kind of one of those bands that drifted off, and sometimes the thrash thing flies under my radar. But yeah, so just looking forward to that new Testament album coming soon, and
Yeah. Hell yeah.
with the way Sepultura did it, they went to Jens too.
Yep.
I, I I know Jens is only mixing this; he's not producing it, but really interesting to see what these guys got in store and what's going on.
Yeah.
Also, Steve is on it.
Yeah. That's another
Stevie
good
D.
reason. Yep. I'm a fan of Testament, like with or without Steve DiGiorgio. I think was it Formation of Damnation back 2008, like the first album back from Chuck Billy's cancer recovery
Mm,
was, like when they got such a long catalog, and I was the the person who didn't like have all their albums or many at all, and so I was kind of researching like, all right, what's the best Testament album? And a lot of internet fans are like, yeah, 2008's like I think it's Formation of Damnation, something like that. Yeah, like the one after Chuck Billy recovered from cancer, like that's the one. Get that. That's a strong album. And I listened to it and it fucking is, bro. Like that is the album for me, like when it comes to Testament. They got some older stuff. I know OG fans are gonna say, oh, you gotta listen to this, that, or the other.
yeah.
But I usually like a little bit more modern spin on these things, and it was crushingly heavy. And I I really love Testament. I don't own too many. I've got several of their albums over here on the rack, and I probably don't give them enough rotation. Again, kind of somewhere between a legacy band and staying modern with their sound, like Anthrax. Anthrax, almost a legacy band, right?
Yeah.
But the last two albums really sound relevant and like important. So I expect the same from Testament. Really great band, and I'm psyched up, especially knowing Jens is on the case in any way, like whatsoever. His name's on it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
got that going for him. Like, and by and large, they don't disappoint. I think they're a solid band, so looking forward to it for sure.
Cool, cool. So that kind of wraps up the news that I have for the week.
Yeah.
What do you got? You got any? I got a couple flyers here that we can share, but what do you got?
I
Anything around the wayside? New releases for locals or shows?
did we know other than I think you told me what you were gonna say, and I was just gonna
Go for okay. So
yeah, just yes to that. Sure, yes.
Jeff, the Van Ripper man,
Yep.
sent us a show September 20th at Papa Pete's. This one's a
Yeah.
banger. Rip Van Ripper, Crocophile, One with the Riverbed, Necrium, and After Midnight. So that's September
Woo.
20th at Papa Pete's. That's a slammer.
Yeah, yeah.
Great bands
Yeah.
there. And then I did talk about September 14th. It's coming up real fast next weekend. Vestigial, Chain Ripper, Necrophiler, Vitriol, and Goat Whore. And that's at the Pyramid Scheme.
Okay.
So them are a
Yeah.
couple local shows. And then the only other thing I had was Eric. Eric
Yes.
Stroud, the homie, Merciano. I believe that's how you say it. Came out
Okay.
with a 4-song demo today. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but I definitely
Nope.
will. I got a little sample and it sounded pretty cool. I'm sure he had something to
Nope.
do with the production, but they got a cool little layout, like the CDs and the shirts and everything that they got going.
Sweet.
Looks real badass and
Yeah.
professional. So
Well, I love Eric's work ethic, and I love that he's just doing all the things that he does. I did say I already put myself out there saying I'm all over it. So I got to get on it as well. I got to make the time today in and around all of my other obligations with family and the podcast and whatever the fuck else I do in my life. But I definitely definitely by the next time we meet, I should have an opinion formed on 4 songs. I walk the dog. I can get 4 songs in. Boom,
Yeah.
easy.
Yep.
So
Cool.
big ups to Eric for keeping it going, man. Love his
Shout
work.
out to Eric. And yeah, man, with that being said, we got a little bit stuff going on. We got some guests coming up, and make sure you guys check out the last podcast that came out on Tuesday. Our boys in Kill Tomorrow. Thank them guys so much for coming on the show.
Fun times.
Got to remember all the things that they have done. Shout out to Mayhan for always booking them, playing broom on their shit, and playing, booking all these shows around for all of us. Yeah. So I had talked to him, so I just wanted to shout him out real quick. Yeah, make sure you guys go check out that Kill Tomorrow podcast. We really appreciate it. Got a lot of cool stuff in store. And anything else from you, my brother?
I think that covers it, man. It's been a hellish week on Earth. We got all kinds of new music and members coming and going in the bands across the world. So
and new robot music too. So
crazy times. Crazy times.
With that being said, catch you later, bro. Keep it metal. Peace.
Later. See you, dude.